just think of yourself as a failure, because if you think of yourself as a failure, there's only up from here. I know that sounds really bleak, but you're going to fail almost every single day when you're starting out. So just learn to embrace it all so that it's not really a shock when it happens. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Janice. I'm very excited about this video because this is the first video in a series where I'm going to be sharing with you guys what it's like to be a talent manager, which is my current full-time job. I'm also going to be sharing my thoughts and commentary on internet culture and internet trends. And lastly, I'm also going to show you guys the behind the scenes of what it's like to actually live a creative life. I feel like we are all creative beings on some level, and I want to share what my journey has been like and also what I do on a week-to-week basis to keep living a creative lifestyle. But in this video specifically, we're going to be talking about how you can become a successful talent manager. I'm going to interchange the word talent manager with influencer manager, but just know that they both mean the same thing. I decided to start this series because I made a video earlier this year where I showed you guys a day in my life as a talent manager. And that video till date is like my most watched video. So once you're done watching this video, definitely go check out the day in my life as an influencer manager video. I'm going to link it somewhere up here. So what is a talent manager? This whole career can be a little bit confusing. Like sometimes I find it hard myself to explain it to my parents and to my friends what exactly it is that I do. In my day in the life of an influencer manager video, I described a talent manager as someone who is almost like a Swiss Army knife, which basically translates to talent managers have to learn to do a lot of things. But to quickly define what a talent manager's role is in an influencer's life, if you look at, say, Emma Chamberlain, right? Yes, she's an influencer, but she is also a business. She's also a brand. And our role as talent managers are to be the CEO/business partners for the influencers to rely on when it comes to discussions that don't have to do with the creative side. So Emma's manager is basically handling all the business stuff so that Emma has more time and energy to put into the creative side of her business. So both work hand in hand as partners to make sure that they're growing the business together. In this video, I'm going to break down the exact steps you can take to become a talent manager and also share with you what you can expect from this career as a whole. Why do you want to become an influencer manager or a talent manager? Is it because you just want to work with influencers? Like, I want you to take a second and really think about why you want to do this. The next step would be for you to choose between two options. So option one, which is the most common, is for you to start by working under an existing talent agency. And you would basically be learning all the skills required to become a talent manager and work your way up. And number two would be to start your own business and be an entrepreneur in this space with whatever experience you currently have right now. In my experience, I've met people who have done both, so there's no right or wrong way to do this, but both of these ways have their pros and cons. For me personally, how I became a talent manager was I interned at a traditional Hollywood talent agency, not really a management company, so there's a difference. They did work with some influencers, but they were basically like a huge talent agency which represented celebrities, and that was my first job out of college. And then from there, I actually got fired. Yeah, I want to be as realistic with you guys as I can and like actually share my journey. Like, I'm not going to glamorize this. Like, I'm gonna give you the real deal about this whole industry. So if there's anything you take away from this video, I hope you understand that there's no straightforward way and you can always make your own path. So after that company, I got a job as an assistant to the CEO of this new talent management company that was coming up. And something that piqued my interest about this company was that they branded themselves as like a TikTok management company. And at the time, TikTok wasn't as big as it is right now. I was the only one, honestly, my age that I knew that was on TikTok. I didn't know anyone in the real world who like used TikTok, and TikTok was just kind of like a cringe app. So at this TikTok management company, I really learned a lot about what it takes to be a good talent manager, and also just like how to problem solve. Like I said, as a talent manager, there's always going to be something that comes up that you've never done before, and your job is just to be like, you know what, I could do it. So you're basically kind of like a fixer. And after I worked for the talent management company, I worked for an app that is very similar to TikTok. And at that app, I got to work with a lot of influencers. Shortly after, I decided to start my own management company. And I've been an independent talent manager for over a year. and about, I want to say, 2 months. When I was starting out, there wasn't that much on the internet, especially on YouTube, about what it's like to be a talent manager and also what this whole career space can look like. And also I didn't find that much information about how to actually get started. So I hope that this video will be very helpful to you guys. So let's go ahead and begin with the pros and cons of working for an already established company before starting your own. We're going to start with the cons first. So if you're working for someone else's company, the chances are you're going to have a typical 9-to-5 job. But sometimes I found myself working way longer hours, but honestly in this entire field the hours can be long, so I'll definitely prepare myself for that. But that's usually typical because influencers don't have typical 9-to-5 jobs. Also, because you're working within these very rigid time frames, you don't really have that much freedom in terms of, you know, having a side job, but usually you have your weekends free. So if you actually want to like put time towards doing something for yourself, then you can kind of use the weekends for that. Also, a con with working for someone else is that you're helping build someone else's business. For me personally, if I'm being completely honest, because I had the cushion of like, you know, a steady paycheck and I felt like this wasn't my business, I didn't really put in that much effort. Like I put in effort, 100% I put in effort, but I didn't care that much about the business. Another con for working for someone else is that you get a salary and you don't really work on commissions, which means that if you help an influencer make, let's say, $1 million, it doesn't matter because you're not going to get that 20% commission. By the way, if you didn't know, managers make 20% commission on everything that their talent or their influencer makes. That's how we make money. But if you're working for someone else, then you're just stuck to that yearly salary amount and you can't really make more. But there are some management companies that do give you bonuses. So if you reach like a certain threshold, then you get to make way more than your actual salary. When you're working for someone else, you can also get a little bit too comfortable and you might not want to learn as much or do as much. I already mentioned that, but that's just something that you should keep in mind, because for me personally, that was a problem because I felt like, oh my God, I'm a little bit too comfortable here. But if you're someone who really likes to grow and learn and you feel like this would be like a long-term career for you, then you can kind of like overcome that. Now we're going to move on to the pros of working for an already existing talent management company. The number one advantage you're going to get from working for someone else is that you're going to make a lot of contacts. If you did not know already, in this industry, it's all about who you know, your network. And if you're starting out without that foundation of having all these brands and agencies and marketing companies that you know, it can be really tough to break in. And so to me, I think that's like the biggest thing that working for someone else can give you. You're basically using their contacts and using all their experience and adding it to your own. Also, because there's always a guaranteed paycheck at the end of the month, you're learning the tricks of the trade without really worrying about money, which can be very helpful. Even if you decide to start out working as an intern or as an assistant, you have a team of coworkers all around you who are there to support you throughout your experience there. You can learn from your coworkers and they can be very helpful if you ever decide to like start your own business down the line. Since COVID, a lot of management companies have moved to a hybrid or just a completely full remote working arrangement. So if you're someone who's dying to work from home, this could be the perfect career for you. Another pro for working for someone else is that you're basically almost being handed a roster of talent or influencers that you can work with. If you don't know what the word roster means, it's just like a list of influencers that a talent management company represents. So if you're going to work for someone else, they probably already have a full roster of people they work with. So you don't really have to go out there and start finding your own influencers to work with. Working for an already established talent management company can be great because they understand the industry better than you would if you were just coming in. And typically they have rosters with like some of the biggest influencers. So you get to work with like higher caliber brands, higher caliber influencers. Also, if you wanted to go to an industry related event, like let's say VidCon, these companies will most likely pay for your ticket to go to these events, as it's actually helping their business for you to go there and make connections and network. Typically, managers tend to accompany their talent when they are invited to different types of events or opportunities. It's very typical for a manager to accompany their influencer or their talent to an opportunity, say like a photo shoot or to an event. But to be completely realistic, these are usually very like rare. It's not the bulk of the job. job. So on the flip side, if you're thinking about just starting your own influencer management company today, it is still possible for you to be successful, but you're just gonna have to do a lot more groundwork. So the pros and cons I'm going to list are going to apply to both people who are coming into this space as complete beginners and also people who have had a little bit of experience in this space. This is going to be a business, right? And businesses take time to grow. So definitely understand that it's gonna be a while before you make any kind of money, and make sure that you're saving a lot of money before you decide to go down this route. I say this and I say this with all seriousness. Be prepared to work harder than you've ever worked in your entire life. If anyone tells you that this is going to be easy, I'm so sorry to inform you, because they lied to you. You are basically starting an entire business where you are wearing every single hat while trying to build it from the ground up. For the most part, you're probably starting out with no talent that wants to work with you. So it's your job to go out into the wild of the internet and find people to work with and find influencers who are up and coming. It can be very tough, but again, it's not impossible. It's just very difficult. As someone who actually came from this world, it was still very difficult for me to start my own business and do this by myself. There was so much I was learning along the way that I never expected in a million years that I would have to learn. To me, that was like a pro and a con, because I learned so much more in my first 6 months of business than I honestly did in like all the jobs I had before. Because I cared so much about building this business, I was forced to put in all my effort into it. You are going to fail a lot, and you're going to fail alone. What I mean by that is, if you're working for someone else, you're gonna have people who can be like, oh, you did that wrong, but let me show you, let me train you how to do this. If you're going into this by yourself, you're gonna have to fail and teach yourself the lessons all on your own. So if you're someone who enjoys that challenge and actually feels motivated by that, then this would be the perfect space for you to be in. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the meme on TikTok or Instagram where people say, I quit my 9 to 5 to work 24/7. It's absolutely not a joke. I literally had days when I would work till 2:30 a.m. at night. For the first 8 months of building my business, I kid you not, I would go to bed usually after midnight. Like 1 a.m. used to be like my normal time of like clocking out, 1 a.m. Honestly, don't even think about it, because it's going to scare you. Understand that even though you might not make that much money within the first year of your business, all those hours you're putting in are for the money you're going to make in the future. Quick story time, and I plan to make a video about this just to show you guys just like how much I've made over time. My first month of business, I made $0, okay? Second month, I made $50. I made $50 in a month. And when I tell you I valued that $50 more than any money I'd ever made in my entire life, that's the truth. I made that money from a business I started. That $50 almost felt way more valuable than like all the money I'd made at jobs where people just paid me. Before we wrap up, I want to share with you guys a few tips that I found to be very helpful, and also some advice that I think would actually make you guys successful as you go into this space. You have to be committed. You also have to be very disciplined. No one is going to come and tell you, hey, Janice, hey, insert your name here, did you work today? Did you pitch this many talent today? Like, no one is going to come and check in on you and be like, oh wow, like how is the business going? How can we help you? Like, no one is coming to check in on you. So you have to be very committed and also just very disciplined. Set your work hours and stick to them, especially within the first year. I cannot stress this enough. I know sometimes it can be very tempting to like sleep in. Sometimes you just need to sleep in. So definitely sleep in and take naps. But like, be about your business. Be very serious about this. Like, when people ask you, what do you do? Tell them, hey, I'm a talent manager. Like, this is your business, and treat it like it is a business. Also, another thing that I would recommend you do is fail. In my life, I failed so much that like it doesn't even faze me anymore. Fail to the point where like failure doesn't do anything to you. Like, if someone tells you, oh, you're gonna fail like this, you're like, okay, like if I fail, is it the end of the world? No. Are you gonna die? No. Like, failure should almost be like the same as you breathing, because just think of yourself as a failure. Because if you think of yourself as a failure, there's only up from here. I know that sounds really bleak. You're going to fail almost almost every single day when you're starting out. So just learn to embrace it all so that it's not really a shock when it happens. When you do have those wins, even though they might be slow to come, they will come. Celebrate yourself. Like, take yourself out to a nice dinner. Acknowledge that it's a win for you, but don't let it consume you to the point where you're just riding on that win. Because if you do that, you are going to be very disappointed. Another thing I plan on talking about a little bit more is just how to win cautiously. Because in this whole career, nothing is promised. There's no consistent paycheck ever. So if you are starting your own business especially, and you're not making that much money from month to month, there's a tendency for you to kind of attach your feelings and your worth according to how much money you make per month. Thankfully, I kind of snatched myself out of that. One thing I would advise you is take your wins as cautiously as possible. Celebrate them, but don't let them consume you and don't let them define you. Overall, this is such an interesting and incredible job to have. I'm very lucky that I'm in this space where I can work from home, work for myself, and provide for myself with just doing work on the internet. 10 years ago, this was not a thing. I truly believe that this is a very special career. While it might not be as glamorous all the time because most of my work is literally me sitting behind a computer, if you are someone who really loves influencers and pride yourself on keeping tabs on all the top influencers on TikTok and all the top influencers on YouTube and all these platforms, you should definitely consider a career in talent management. And that brings us to the end of this video. My next video is going to be about all the different ways that influencers make money. So if you want to be notified when that video drops, definitely hit subscribe and turn on post notifications so that you can get that little alert. I upload videos every single week, so if you have any video recommendations, please leave them in the comments below. Let me know if you're interested in becoming a talent manager, you already are a talent manager, or you're just watching this because you're curious. And of course, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and I will get to them. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.